Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not.
Whatever happened to men being gentlemen? Like, I know there's still some out there, but like, why aren't they the majority?
I cannot fathom dating in the US again. Like, the men in the UK are just built different. I have been given royal treatment since the moment I stepped off of that plane in life.
If you aren't pedestalizing modern women, you aren't a man in their eyes, apparently.
Bring back the masculine men. This generation of men wants to be chased so badly.
As a matter of fact, I have been ran through very, very many men, but that's not an insult.
If dating for love isn't working out for you, date for money. I'm being dead serious.
For women who call themselves strong and independent, they sure rely on men for everything. Kindly subscribe to the channel as it further supports us in our work. Thank you.
I can't tell you the last time a man gave me butterflies. Brain damage, like 24 minutes ago. Butterflies, can't recall that.
I'm back. But I want to know, where are all the men that pull up and say, wear that yellow dress I like so much? I'm taking you out because I need that in my life. And it's nowhere to be found. Make it happen.
No! Why are you giving up your power as a woman still? Men are animals. Like, men need to hunt, need to chase. The moment you let them know that the prey is basically like just available and it's not running and they don't have to put much effort, the excitement and like the urges kind of just like disappear, because that's not engaging for them anymore. They don't have a purpose of pursuit anymore. What works the best in dating is pleasing yourself.
Any woman who's out here speaking this nonsense about men needing to chase them doesn't actually like you. Those are just games they want to play. They want you to boost their ego first. You have to understand, these kinds of women are looking for a thrill, not a real connection. They get a rush out of knowing they have someone wrapped around their finger, jumping through hoops to prove himself, while they do the bare minimum in return. It's not about building something meaningful. It's about control and validation. They feel powerful when they have you chasing because it feeds their self-worth without them having to give anything back. But here's the truth. If you have to chase, it really isn't that valuable anyway. Something real doesn't require games. A woman who genuinely likes you will meet you halfway, not sit on a pedestal waiting for you to exhaust yourself, proving you're worthy of her time.
Bring back the masculine men. This generation of men wants to be chased so badly. I'm not doing it, princess. What is the quote that I just heard recently? Can't get rejected if you're not actively pursuing. Tell me you're a wounded warrior without telling me you're a wounded warrior. You need therapy, babe.
Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not. I'd at least 6'2".
At least 6'2".
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
So 6'2".
Well, it's 5'6", 5'5".
6'2" bare minimum.
Yeah, I just like tall dudes.
Women only leave men when they are not being taken care of, right? So when women aren't being emotionally taken care of, right? Because guys will have sex anytime. They have affairs because their emotional needs are not being met. The more that you can like take care of your wife and try to make her happy, do things that's nice for her, she won't go anywhere, right? And then the more that you do that, the more she's going to want to do the same for you. People always wear like, you're not doing this, or I'm not getting enough of this. But the more you give to that, your partner, the more they want to give to you. I've been married for almost 16 years now to my second husband, and my last husband, like he's my world, you know, like I love him so much and I would never want to get divorced again. And some people are just narcissistic psychos, so they're going to cheat on you anyways. Like that was my first husband, right? So, you know what I mean?
Did you guys hear that? Amazing, isn't it? If her husband cheats, he's a narcissistic psychopath. But if she cheats, it's because he wasn't fulfilling her emotional needs. This woman is delusional. That's not accountability. That's self-justification. Cheating is a choice, not a reflex. You can't scream loyalty when it's convenient and then rewrite the rules when you're the one in the wrong. And that other statement she made, that women only leave men when they're not being taken care of, obviously that's a lie. Plenty of men provide, protect, and give their all, yet still get left because she's bored, wants to find herself, or thinks she can do better. We've seen it time and time again. A man can be doing everything right, and it still won't be enough for someone who's chasing excitement instead of commitment. The truth is, some women don't leave because they're neglected. They leave because they think the grass is greener.
Women really need to stop blaming their singleness on God and God's timing. It's become the new, I'm single because I'm picky. It's just another excuse to not take accountability. God gives us free will, and those choices that you made in your 20s are why you are single. You slept around in your 20s, guess what? That's not from God. Those were your bad choices. That was your plan, not God's plan. And the reason why you're single in your 30s, it's because of your own choices that you made. You are the reason that you are single. You wanted to have fun, find yourself, experiment. Cool, but don't complain now. Take some accountability and stop trying to portray it as God's plan. I'm so sick and tired of women not taking accountability, constantly just coming up with new ways to avoid accountability.
This is the reason men have to pay the bills. Like, being a provider is the least they can do. Because the amount of things that women go through that men do not go through is quite literally unfair. That's the only way to balance it. Number one, the period cycle. This is a monthly evolution of ever-changing hormones that we cannot control. Sometimes we have too little. Sometimes we have too much. Progesterone, estrogen, we just can't control that. Cortisol, up and down. It is radical, all while we're expected to manage those emotions and be productive members of society. And then the period that so graciously shows up every month. And don't get me wrong. For those of us that don't want kids, we are so ever so thankful that it shows up. But that does not negate the fact that sometimes it's brutal.
So men need to fund a woman's lifestyle because women go through periods. How exactly does that balance things out? She also mentioned it's because those are things women go through that men don't have to deal with. Like, okay, but how does a biological reality suddenly turn into a financial responsibility for men? Men also go through things women don't. Stress from physically demanding jobs, pressure to protect and provide, higher workplace injury rates, dangerous labor, military drafts, and higher rates of homelessness and suicide. If we're playing the "you don't go through what I go through" game, then men could just as easily demand financial compensation for the risks and burdens they face that women don't. But that's not how relationships are supposed to work. She says being a provider is the least men can do. That's the problem right there, reducing a man's entire value to his ability to provide financially, as if his role is nothing more than an ATM with legs.
I think dating sucks in the Western community because nobody really understands what to do anymore. Like, just the standard is blurred here. Like, nobody just understand. Is the girl should be feminine still, or should she open her own doors? Like, it's really hard. Like, the roles are not harsh divided anymore, and that's why it's causing problems, in my opinion. So that's why everyone is confused, and nobody just having like a great experience in dating because nobody exactly knows what to do. Like, of course it would just be a problem, you know, my opinion.
If a man is not actively taking you on dates, it's a no. It's a no. Especially in the early stages. There should be no, come over to my place, let me come over to your place, let's watch a movie. They need to be actively taking you out, going to do activities, going to see stuff. And then if you want to have movie nights and stuff like that in between, yeah, but every time you hang out shouldn't be at one of your houses. And you need to set that boundary from the beginning, girl. Like, if they start insinuating, like, come to my place, no, cut that off so quick. Make it so clear, like, hey, I'm not looking for that. Like, we need to go on dates. And usually that'll weed off the guys who don't want anything serious pretty quick. If they're not actively trying to take you out, go out and do things, go out and have new experiences, it's a no. That's what dating is, bitch. It's not come over to my place, let's watch a stupid movie and hook up. Like, that's a hookup, not a date. Do not let them play you, bitch. Don't do it.
What exactly does she take that man for? If a man isn't actively taking you on dates, it's a no. It's easy for women to say stuff like this because they're not the ones paying for the date. It's not their wallet taking the hit every time. It's not their gas. It's not their planning. I understand a woman doesn't want to go to a guy's house on a first date, but expecting a man to actively put on a performance by going on many dates is unrealistic and one-sided. At some point, it stops being about getting to know each other and starts feeling like a constant audition where the man has to keep spending just to prove he's worthy. That's not dating. That's entertainment at his expense. If the only way she's engaged is through fancy outings, then she's more interested in the experience than the man providing it.
Even when I was taking a shower at my ex's house, I come out of the shower and I see him going through my phone. And I had no idea he even knew my passcode. So I'm like tripping out. He's tripping out because for the life of me, I could not be faithful to this man. I immediately lunge for the phone. He starts running. I'm chasing him around his apartment. The towel has fallen. He was very agitated, but I knew he hadn't gotten to the hard hitters yet because there was some crazy stuff on there and his reaction was like upset, but not like flabbergasted. So he lets me back inside and I come back in and I'm like, listen, obviously we're done. Just give me the phone. Let's part ways. Like, I was such a little bitch. I couldn't even apologize. We were wondering what happened. We got back together a week later and dated for another 8 months.
Do you still trust women after working in nightlife for 20 years?
You know, obviously you see a lot of cheating. I remember a girl was on a girls' night out in the bar and she basically, her friends left and she got talking to a guy. Obviously she had the wedding ring on. The guy is actually somebody I know very well. All her friends leave. She says she wants to stay. One of the friends kind of lingers for a little while trying to get her to leave and knows what's about to go down. The girl just shoos her away. She ends up leaving. So now it's just her and him. Obviously we're walking, we know where this is going to end up. So he's looking at me going, yo, she's married. I'm like, dude, I don't want to part of this, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really know the girl. Anyway, she gets on the phone and she's right near me at the end of the bar and she calls her husband. Hey, babe, Stacy's vomiting and stuff. I'm going to stay with her and look after her. And so I'm going to be home late or I might just sleep at Stacy's house, depending on how she looks. I don't know who Stacy is, but she sure ain't in the bar at this point, right?
Oh my God.
Right. So fast forward a few hours, you see them making out and the whole nine. They disappear. I believe dumpsters were involved, right? Yes.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, he disappeared. It's a hidden spot, He comes back in. He's like, Rishi, I'm out. And I'm like, daps me up, leaves. I'm like, dude. She comes in 3 minutes later, just adjusting herself, calls her husband, has him pick her up at the bar, comes in, and she's introducing him to people like nothing happened. And I'm just like, I'm scarred. I'm scarred for life.
This right here is the ultimate betrayal. Not only did this woman lie to her husband so she could get her back blown out in an alley, but she also had the audacity to invite her husband along, standing there with him like nothing had happened, as if she wasn't just committing one of the most disgusting acts of disrespect a spouse could do. That's not just cheating, that's calculated cruelty. She wasn't just unfaithful, she was mocking him in real time, treating his trust like a joke and his dignity like it was disposable. It's one thing to betray someone behind closed doors, but to stand beside them smiling, knowing full well what you just did, is cold-blooded. That level of deceit shows she never valued the marriage, never respected the man, and only cared about covering her tracks while still getting her thrill. This is why a man has to be very careful who he puts a ring on, because some of these women's hearts still belong to the streets, and they just can't let it go.
Everybody wants to date a millionaire guy until you realize that he's going to hold you up to the same exact standards that he holds himself. So you can't be no lazy bitch. You can't just lay in bed all day. You have to go on the runs. You have to be fit. You have to eat healthy. Pretty much everything that a high value man does, he will expect you to do it. So if you're the type of girl that rots in bed all day, that you don't brush your teeth, you don't brush your hair, you don't do your makeup, most likely a millionaire high value man is not going to pick you. And it's not because you're ugly. It's not because of this. It's just because you're not holding yourself up to the high standard that he holds himself. So if he's holding himself up here and he's going on a 3-mile run every day and he's going to the gym and he's eating healthy and you're eating chicken tenders and fries and rotting in bed all day, that's most likely not going to be your man. So rule number 1 or step number 1 to finding your millionaire high value man, stop being lazy. Get the fuck up. do your hair, do your makeup, and act like the high value woman that attracts and has a high value man. Cause like, let's be real, this super high net worth value guy on a yacht with his friends and like just a shit ton of money is most likely not going to be with a girl who doesn't wash her face, who doesn't eat healthy, who doesn't work out. And that's facts. And you guys can come at me if you want, but I hang out with enough high value guys that I know how they think.
If dating for love isn't working out for you, date for money. I'm being dead serious. My dating approach has been unbelievably pure for my entire life. Never cared about the financial status of the guy, have dated people with less money than me, have always gone 50-50 in relationships, has never been financially taken care of by a guy. I just wanted to fall in love and have a genuine partnership and connection with someone. And
valid.
Guess where that's gotten me? Used, taken advantage of, single. My ex, who I thought I was in love with at the time, we split everything 50-50, including rent. We lived together. That he was never going to marry me. He was never going to settle down with me. The guy who I've had genuine feelings for has just hurt me.
You are so close. This doesn't mean you need to go the polar opposite and just start using other men for money. But you felt like you were being used in your relationships, right? So you're gonna turn around and do the same thing to these other men. Hence, punishing all these other men for the actions of your exes. And that's not right. Here's the thing is we all know that there are people out there who will use you. It doesn't matter the gender. That's why you need to have boundaries on how much you're willing to give. And if your underlying expectation was to get marriage out of the relationship, you need to communicate that up front. You need to have your limits. Some men don't want to get married these days, and it's valid, but you also need to protect yourself if for you that's a must-have. I have been in these same situations myself, and once I was like, okay, this is what I'm willing to put up with, this is what I'm not. And I was very fair with it, and I was willing to set boundaries but not be too unreasonable with them. My dating options massively improved. And now I'm with the man of my dreams. And yeah, he doesn't make 6 figures. Yeah, he doesn't buy me fancy stuff every day. But he is willing to share everything that he has with me. We have a genuine, loving connection. If you only use people for money or the resources they can give you, you're not going to have deep, loving relationships. You're going to have very shallow relationships. And I know some women are like, well, I have my girlfriends, I don't care. Well, throughout your life, your girlfriends will be close to you and far away from you. Because ultimately, we all prioritize our romantic relationships over our friends. That's just how it works. And yes, having girlfriends is absolutely wonderful. But you're going to want someone by your side that's your partner, where you will be first most of the time. And that's going to be in your romantic relationship. So you want that to be a deep connection.
This is what I mean when I say women have one bad experience with one man and their minds go ballistic. She said dating for love didn't work, so now she's dating for money, treating every guy like he's just a walking paycheck. One heartbreak turned her whole perspective into men are investments, and now she's operating like relationships are business transactions. What ends up happening to these types of women is that they become broken. Over time, the constant cycle of bad choices, failed relationships, and unhealed wounds chips away at them. The walls get higher, the bitterness sets in, and the softness they once had fades away. They start to believe every man is out to hurt them, so they operate in defense mode, cold, guarded, and transactional. The tragedy is, many of them don't realize they're the architects of their own downfall. Instead of healing, they pile on more baggage. Instead of changing their approach, they double down on the same destructive patterns.